Share screen. So, and also I need to open the Slack because I need to add the resources. Okay. So there are so many editors are available in the market. Means we have some editors just like Eclipse and Android Studio. Yeah, Android Studio is also help to make a development and visual just like that. Xamarin, there is also editor that is also used for that development, and many more editors. Means you can number on the fingers. Means there are many more editors which are which are currently present, and which are used in the development or deployment. These kind of things, but we are using the self VS Code because it's quite light. Means instead of the other tool, means its installation is easy, its working is easy, so that's why we are using VS Code. So let's start how to use the VS Code. For first, we need to install the VS Code into our system. For installing our VS Code, we need to search in a Google that to download. And if you have a Windows, then you follow this one. If you have a Mac, then follow this one. Okay, if you have a Windows, then follow this one, and if you have a Mac, follow this one. And once you downloaded the VS Code and then install that VS Code, after the installation, it will look like this, something like this. Let me share this link in the resource. Okay, once to download it, it will show something like this. It's not will show something, it will show something like this. That you have to uh, this kind of UI you will see once it will be downloaded. So after the download, what you have to do that you have to just first click on this square bracket. You can see it's called extension section. Yeah, you can remember this is a square bracket and click on this square bracket. It's not adding. Okay, once added, you have to click on this square bracket. After the square bracket, you need to type Salesforce. Once you will type Salesforce, you will find that first two icons, Salesforce CLI integration, that means zoom something. Yeah, Salesforce CLI integration and Salesforce extension pack. These two extension you need to install. So install means once it will not install, then here it will show that just like that. It will show an install button here. So you have to install these two packages. while writing these two extensions, sorry, not packages, these are extensions. So Salesforce CLI and Salesforce extension. Okay, once you've done that, after that, what you have to do that now the VS Code is ready to make a make a deployment to extract the code, but it's not fully ready. You have to just install one more thing called as Salesforce CLI, because it's an important thing for making to communicate with the cell. Now VS Code is ready to accept and receive the ready to accept and receive the commands, but it will not but the middleware is still absent, that is the Salesforce CLI. So you have to download a Salesforce CLI for that. So what you have to do that you have to search for the Salesforce CLI. Yeah, here. Yeah, you will reach at here and you have to download the CLI for your respective vendor. So okay, once you download it and install the Salesforce CLI, now it's ready to work on. So once you download it, then thereafter what you have to do that you have to restart that this VS Code so that it will get integrated with that. So you have to first close that VS Code and again start that VS Code. So once you start, it will again show the same thing, no issue in that. It will show something like that. After that, what you have to do that you have to separate the your projects. Means whenever you're working on the project management, whenever you are working on the local system, that project management is also an important thing. Means how you manage the project, because so for that we have to create folders for you. So just create a folder, just click on open folder, and whenever you are working, and suppose you're working in the documents, so just select the documents and create some folders according to your projects. Okay, according to your project, just create folders over up here so that it will be easy to track down. So let's create a folder for okay, I create a folder, and once I created the folder, it's okay. Now after that, what I need to do that I have to write some commands over up here. Commands, how can I write the commands? I just go to the this one view or command palette. Either I can do this one, or I have to have a command shift P. Okay, one more time. Either I have to go view and command palette, or I have to write down command shift P. Both will open this this command palette. Hmm? both will open this command pad. For the Windows user, it should be Control Shift P, and for the or you have to directly click and view from view command palette. No issue in that. Either go to the view command palette or just write Control Shift P. It will work for both perspective. So let's put view command palette. It is 45645. Okay. So once you done that, now you have to type SFDX create project for manifest. Whenever you type this, these commands will automatically pops up, and there are few more commands. But this one you have to select the create project with manifest. Once you select the create project with manifest, it will uh, ask for the three options. You have to choose one standard, and here you have to type your project name. So let's type the project name, training dev. Once you type the project name, it will ask for the folder. So select the folder which you have just created. Means it will you have created in your documents or any other place. Just select that folder and hit the create project button. While it's running, let's put some steps over here. Then SFTX. So once the project got completed, it will redirect to that into that project, and you will show and just is showing that new, and it's still downloading. Once it's downloaded, it will show that no default project or set. You will show up here. So let's put the steps. So then we go further. So then we have a step 6. In that, what you have to do that in command palette. In command palette, SFTX. What is that? SFTX create project manifest. Then standard. Then add project name. Choose folder where to create project. Okay. That will become your step 6. Yeah, that will become your step 6. After that, once you created to this, once you comes up here after the project is created and you comes up here, you can see there is no default org is set. So what you have to do that, you have to click up here, and once you click up here, type SFTX, and you can see that it's showing that authorize an org. This is the second option. Not authorize a dev. You have to select the authorize an org. Okay. Or you can also do something like that. You can go to again command palette and then authorize an org. Both you can both steps. Either you can click up here and go to the, or you can just go to the command palette and then type SFDX authorize an org. So Okay. Once you select the once you select authorize an org, it will ask for the configuration, which configuration you want. So select the production because you're a developer org. So okay. So authorize an org, then select production. Once you select production, it will ask for the configuration name. So training dev, what is that? Org, training dev org. So I hit enter. Once I hit enter, it will redirect to that login screen of the Salesforce. What you have to do that you have to just log in into your developer account. So I just choose my developer account and hit login.
Suraj. Mine gave error, like it says authorize org failed to run.
Change the developer org. Means try with some new developer org created by your Trailhead account.
Okay, I'll try.
It is this common issue usually you face. Yeah,
Didn't
try
pop up.
create a new developer org and generate a fresh use. Yeah.
Okay, we'll create new
Once
one.
you reach up here, it will show that error. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it didn't pop up.
Yeah, you have to create a new one.
Okay.
Because you,
I'll do that.
So once you done these steps, whenever you complete these steps, you will see that it shows that authorized in org successful, and here you can see that what it says pseudo step. Oh, actually, that's why it's showing up here because I already created with connection. Because I already created the connection, that's why it's showing the Suraj DevOps, because previously I was created the connection. But what are be the name that you have typed in after the developer or the name, the same name is showing up. So give the name of for the org. Give the name for org. Then it will redirect to then login into the org via browser. That's it. Once it's logged in, you will see that it is now it's ready to work with the Salesforce org and do make a sync or deployment. Everything you can do from here. So, but right now, if you open these, means these are the configuration file. Apart from that, this Force app and manifest. These apart from these two files, these all are configuration files. So don't play with these files. Just go with the Force app main and default, and then once you come up here, you can see that these all folders are empty. Means they are nothing in that. They are nothing in that. So what you have to do, you have to import your all the files into VS Code. For importing all the files into the VS Code, what the thing is important is that package.xml is an important file for making deployment. Yeah, for making a deployment to the Salesforce or retrieving metadata from the Salesforce. Yeah, or deploying the metadata or retrieve the metadata. For that, package.xml is a very important thing. And in the package.xml, if you open that package.xml, you will see that it will mention the configuration that what we have to import or what we have to deploy. since here it is mentioned that Apex classes, and in the members it's mentioned star. Star means all the Apex classes. If you want to uh, include only particular classes, then you have to just write the name of that classes. You don't have to write the star, and you have to just type the name of that particular classes. Similarly, we have a Aura component, Apex package, all these thing files are available up here. There are so many files are available up here, so many components or metadata that currently available, and it is not up to this. There are many more metadata are present, but these configuration is a basic configuration that need for a developer to start work on to kick their start. So these are the basic configuration that should needed. So what you have to just, that's why this VS Code, whenever you install the VS Code, this package that XML is already created with some basic configuration so that developer can start work on it. So for that, let's what I have to do that for in order to retrieve or export, retrieve the first we need to retrieve the packages, retrieve the all the configuration, all the metadata. Sorry, we have to retrieve all the metadata from the, because you can see there is no file available in all of them. So what I have to do, I just come up to there, and on the package.xml I do right click. Once I do the right click, you can see that on the bottom of that options, you will see there is a two things. One is deploy to source to source in manifest to org, and second is retrieve source in manifest from org. So just click on retrieve source. It will take some time and retrieve all the configuration. Sorry, retrieve all the metadata from this org to which we authorized, and it will show up here. So it's doing that. Okay. Now I can see that in the logs, all the files are showing up here, and whatever be the extracted. And if I come up here, that application does not have Aura. Since the you remember these Aura components we have built. Yeah, we have worked on these Aura components, so it's showing up here, and we have classes. Okay, we have classes. We have so many classes, so it's showing up here, and we have components. Yeah, we have, and we don't have any other things. We have layouts and nothing. Layouts are not added in this package.xml, so that's why it's not appearing. So that's it. So these are the things that how this is the how the way we retrieve the packages, retrieve the metadata configuration from the org to from the org to our VS Code. Let's have a look at how we can deploy the changes from VS Code to the Salesforce. First, let me check that where our app is present. So let's open. So we bind this component. Let's have a make change in this component and via VS Code, not from the developer console. So let's first have a look at what the component is binded. Okay, parent component is binded upon. So if I come to my this section, and I can find that Aura. In that Aura, we must have that. As you can see, there's a parent component, and this parent component has component file, and this component file has this code. Okay, now let's make some changes. Okay, and then I hit the save. Once I hit the save, what I have to know that either I have to do right click from here and deploy this source or deploy this source to all, or you have to do right click from here. From here you can also find the deploy source to the source to all. So you can do it from any place. Just right click up here and deploy this to source, or you have to choose this option and click on that option. Once you click on that, it start deploying. Once it's deployed successful, you have to just come up and refresh that thing. Now you can see that it is got deployed. So in this way, we are retrieving the package and deploying to the Salesforce org. Let's put some steps over there. So okay, so you have to do something like this. If you want to get the metadata from the org, you have to do that thing. And if you, in order to make deployment, you have to do the right. So in this way, we are retrieving the package and making the deployment by using the VS Code. And okay, and if you want to deploy the multiple components, multiple files, so what you have to do, you have just to select the files by pressing the control keyword and just click on right click and do the deployment. And similarly, we have also an option that suppose I want to retrieve only particular file, not all the files. So what I have to do that, I don't have to just go to, suppose I make changes this on this component, on parent component, I make changes. Okay, I make changes from into this parent component. Okay, I do save. but those changes are not reflected up here. So what I need to do that, so what you have, I need to do, I just click on right click and retrieve this from source org. So what it will do, it will retrieve only this file. What of that? I usually crashed. Component source, and once you click, it start running. Okay, so now once it's retrieved, you can see the changes are showing up here. So in this way, you just have to, if you have a, if you want to retrieve any particular file, and then do work on that, then you can do in this way. Just click on that, right click on that particular file and retrieve the package from the retrieve the package, and it will be shown up here. And okay, so this is the way that how we are doing that, making the deployments and retrieving the package. Let's look at the things that how we create a component and create any metadata file from the VS Code and deploy that metadata file. That so what we have to do that you have to just again go to the view and command palette. So first sfdx create. Let's first go to the command palette, create sfdx dot create. Now what you want to create from here, suppose let's create apex class. So you have to select that create apex class and hit enter. Then after it will ask for the apex class name. So you can write my first apex class vs apex class. Okay, so my first vs apex class and do hit the enter. Now it asking for the where we want to save that class. So let's make it default and hit the enter. Once you hit the enter, the classes get created into the class folder, and it has two files. First is the main file and second is the its XML file. Second is its XML file. So for because the XML file to that file, so it is an XML file. Okay, I created this class, but if I look at in my well, in my org, this class is not present. So what I have to do that I need to make a small deployment. I just need to right click over up here and deploy this to source org, because means if I suppose I make some changes and do that thing and create this and create a write code, and then after I need to make a deployment. For that I just need to click here, deploy this to source org, and it gets deployed. Now it will be shown here. That's fine. No, let's do refresh. Yeah, now it's showing up here. So it is the same way, small and simpler way that how we make a deployment, how to retrieve a package from the Salesforce, how to retrieve that, how to create any file inside the, how to create any metadata file inside the VS Code, and then make a deployment to that to our org. So we can do all the kind of things that we are doing up there. We can do the same thing up here. Okay, so this is the way that how we are making, how we are working with the VS Code, and how the VS Code is working with the Salesforce. We have to just first we have to retrieve the package. First we have to retrieve the package so that we can get the configuration, and and all the basic metadata for doing the deployment, for working with the Salesforce. If you've not done that, it's also no issue with that. You can directly create the files. You can directly create your files. You can directly create your files without doing the retrieve from the retrieve from the, or you can directly create the files and make the deployment. There is no issue in that. Okay, it's just a thing that you should know that thing, how to retrieve the package from the org. But you can directly create the package, sorry, you can directly create the files and do the deployment. So any questions?
So Suraj, so this is just extra tool to do developing?
No, this is a
Because
kind
when
of tool that,
go ahead.
because it's a kind of a tool that will help for the development. And usually VS Code, because usually we are not doing the coding directly in the Salesforce, or we just use the VS Code for the development. So, and because it is helps in our version controlling, GitHub push and pull everything.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay.
Raj,
Mm.
uh, so when we create a file, the VS automatically creates two files. One of them is the CLS, the other one the meta XML file. So I think we don't work on the XML file, right? At all.
Yeah, we don't work on the XML file.
So it's just for deployment and retrieve, right?
Just for the deployment. We can work on the XML file, but it's a high level. Means once you know more about these classes, then you can work directly. Means it's also a thing that you can work on. That means it's a rare. Suppose I need to delete a class from here to org. That at that moment we can't do that. Means we can't do a delete method. We can't do the delete from here. So for that we need to take a help of this XML file to delete that class. We will learn that thing, means if we need it, I'll send on that. Means yeah,
Okay.
because we can't able to delete any class from here, the class presented in the org. So we can do that by XML file.
I see. Thank you.
So it's a rare time it will be used, else it will not. Okay, no question. Then let's have a break. After that, we will take a look at that how we create a LWC component via this VS Code. Okay, let's have a break.
Okay, thank you.
Just try it again, organization. I open new trailhead, and then trailhead new playground is open. I call org set, no org set, and authorize an org, and production login Salesforce. I just give a name ABC, and then it just keep failing. I don't know. I'm not sure why is it failing.
Once you create a new Trailhead account, then you have to go to the user and create your username and password for that org.
Okay? Well, it's there already. What do you mean?
No. You created a new Trailhead account, new Trailhead developer or new
Yeah.
Trailhead org. So you have to you must have some new username and new password. So you have to use that username and password.
Where do I put those username and password?
Once you log in, first you have to create that username and password. Then while from the VS Code, when you hit that authorize an org, then you have to put that username and password.
On the Salesforce, username and password is already there. It's already open. Playground.
Playground is open, na? Yeah, that I know that, but it's not able to. You don't have to, you don't have any credentials or username password for that org.
So where do I put
You have
the
to first.
username and password? So on the VS Code, the platform, or
No, first you have to create the username password from via going to your setup and then user. Reset password. You have to do a reset password so that
yeah,
it will send an e.
Yes, I did that. Everything. I reset the password. They sent me the link. I created username and password. I mean, I just put the same username and just change the password. Would that work? Whatever the username is there, I just use that one. I should create the new one.
Can you show me that? I think you are doing something else.
Okay, sorry about that. Just let me share the screen.
Welcome back. Let's do that. Let's start creating an LWC component, means LWC. And how we are going to do that? We just have to follow the same steps as we are doing earlier. Just go to the view command palette, and just like with creating a Apex classes, the same thing we need to write the create lightning web component. Okay, once we create a lightning web component, now we're asking for the name. So always do remember that whenever we have to create a component and we have to write its name after that component, then it must be start with a small letter. So first I have my first LWC component. Okay, my first LWC component, and I hit enter. Now it's asking for the location. I again hit the enter, and it will get created and show that it's created up here. Now once it is created, you can see that the name it's the same name as the name I provided. It's my first LWC component. That's correct. And it's apart from that, it's created 3 files. Okay, one is HTML file, one is JS file, and one is meta XML file. Okay, the 3 files. First is the HTML file contains a template. It is a similar that Aura component. In the Aura component, you will find that it's written as Aura component, and it just replaced with the template, nothing more. And in JS file, it will it's quite similar to a class, and we are importing a lightning over up here, and just a lightning JS over up here, so that it will work with the lightning element. And we just doing the same thing. And after that, we have means all the controller thing are coming up in this JS part. And then we have a meta XML file in which we are declaring that this component is available at which place. Okay, we are declaring here that with this component is available at which place. So just like that, it will show that is exposed is false. We just make it is exposed is true, so that we can use so that we can use that component at some place. So let's first work on the component. Work on this component, means this meta XML files, and let it and so that we configure it in such a way so that it will be available to the so that it will be available on our app page. So for that, what's first we need to make that this is exposed equal to true, and then what you have to do that what's so configuration. I usually forget the tags, so I need to copy and paste. You have to also do the copy and paste. Just do copy paste. Yeah, yeah. So it is a proper meta XML file for the for our Lightning Web Component. First, detail about the version on which we are working. Second is export. It means that it is available for the for use or no. Second is master label. Master label is a thing that in which by which label that component knows when someone try to add into the Lightning page or record page or any place when someone wants to add our component at that moment, and description is just a description. Thereafter we define the targets. Targets means in which suppose it is written record page, so this component is available at record page, app page, and home page. These all places this component will available. And thereafter we have a target configuration. Target configuration is more specification, just like that on the record page. If want to more specify that this component is available for the account opportunity and only these object it will be available. So that was the thing. Okay, so we just more specify that working with that working with it, that means if you want to more specify the requirement, then we have to design this target configuration. Right now we just have to do a small example. So let's have a copy this one, come up here and just paste it here. Okay, so let's type description. This is a demo component. Okay, it's also cool. Save it. Just whatever the configuration you made, just save it. And after the saving, just do the right click and deploy this to source.org. Okay, I just do the configuration so that it will be available to for our app page, and just create a configuration and hit save and just do the deployment. So what will happen that this component it's now available at my developer app page. So let's check that it's any app page I have built or no. No, I haven't built any app page. Let's create an app page. Let's make it one region and one sidebar. Okay. Now, since we are here, so you can say that this is this is the same name what you have added up here. Okay, this is will be the same name what we have added up here. It will showing up here. So just I need what I do, I just drag and drop that component to here. Nothing else, and just hit the save because this component is nothing to have, so it's showing as a blank. Let's activate it for some devices. Let's activate it for all user we are activating. We can also choose for activating for the system admin or for all user. The next is that in which tab we want to add this app page. So let's add on the book management page. And for the mobile, we can also, if we want to add it on a mobile, else we just have to do that thing. Let's hit save. Once it's saved, just click on back and go to that bookstore management. And you can see that my component app page is showing up here. Right now it's a blank because no, I have nothing created that over up here. I just created the configuration so that LWC component will show will be able to add on this app page. Now I'm just going to add some I want to add some UI changes. Let's add hello from LWC component. Okay, I hit the save. Again, what I have to do that is just do the right click and deploy this to source to org. Once I hit, let's do refresh. Do again. Yeah, now it's showing that hello from LWC component. So whatever we are written up here, now it's showing up. Let's close this. Now it's showing up in this LWC component. So in this way, we can add add our LWC component to an app page. Similarly, we can do a record page. Similarly, we can do at every place. The process is same, only the name is changing. So process is always in same. Only the name is changing. So in this way, we can just drag and drop the component or any app page or record page. What we have to do is just we have to just make the changes in the meta XML file. So according to the meta XML file, the component is available at that places. Suppose I want to use the meta XML file only on the record page, not on the app target app page or home page. So I will remove this thing and just hit save and make the deployment. So it will not available in my app page. It will only available on for the record pages. So this is the way that how we are how the component is working. Now let's have a look on more over there that how the variables are working with the Aura component. So let's have a look that Aura components, since Aura component is since Aura component what are we the just like that what we are doing that in the uh, on the Aura component, just we can do the similar thing in the LWC component too. There is no changes, only syntax is changing. Apart from that, everything is same. So let's have a look. Then suppose I have suppose let's create a variable over up here that where okay, and during the declaration I just initialize that variable 2. So hit save. When I hit save, I just copy that variable over up here and bind that here too. Now here you can do both things. Either you can use the double curly braces or single curly braces. It will work. Sorry. And then what I need to do that I just need to make a deployment. Okay, it's deployed. Let's have a and refresh it. Yeah, you can see that test is showing up here. What will be the I type here it's showing up there too. So in this way, we can bind the variables. For binding the variables, what we need to do that we just use the curly braces and type the variable name which is declared over up here. It is quite similar that LWC component, LWC, we need to type curly braces, exclamation mark, then v dot. That was totally removed. Here, what we have to do just we just have to put a curly braces and then type the variable name, and it will work fine. Let's have a look at how to how this variable work with the but events. Events means that button click event. Yeah, same thing. We just type the button and copy the code and paste it there, just like we are doing for the Aura. We'll do the same thing for the lighting too. There is no changes. It's just a revision of your Aura. If you don't remember, then you can revise. I just copy this one from here and let's paste it here. Okay, brand label instead of brand. Okay, there are, you can see that on click we have see that handle click is available up here. So what we have to do, I just need to create a method just like that we are creating a method in the controller. Just the same thing, we need to create a handle click method over up here. So let's click a handle method. So what you have to do, just copy and paste, and just like that you are defining a function. Just click a handle click and pass the event. Okay, so I just create a method called handle click and I just pass the event. It's an optional thing. You can pass it and you cannot pass it. It's an optional thing, but always to pass it, because we might be face some error. Means it's not a required thing, but if you pass the event, then it will be good. If you don't pass, the thing will happen. Means if you pass, then it will be good. After the handle click, I just want to change this variable name. So what I have to do, I have to add this, because it's declared in the class. It's not its scope is not belongs to this what I can say, this method. The scope got changed because it's declared in this class, and handle click is an event, so the scope got changed. So this dot my first var is equals to changed via button save, and I need to also save it, this one. And what I do to that, I just deploy this to, so whenever I deploy one of the file, it all automatically deploy all three files. And it doesn't mean that if you deploy, you have to deploy all the files one by one. No, it's not means. If you deploy any one of the file, all the files get deployed. All the files related to this folder, only this folder get deployed over here. So click up here. Okay. Now once I click on change it, it got changed. Okay. So in this way, we declare a method inside a JS. We are declaring a method inside their controller and use that method to work with the any of the button clicks or any of the clicks. We can just use that method so that it will work with any of the methods, any of the suppose input button or any of the event that we can generate of it's used that method. And one more thing, that suppose I need to make changes in the variables that is declared for the class or declared for the pages. This variable is declared for the our template. This variable is declared for our templates. So since this variable is declared for our templates and I want to make changes in that variable, so for that I need to write this. This is refers to that our whole templates comes into this, and this refers to that, and then my first wire what will be the variable name, and then directly assigned to a new value. So it will quite similar, quite simple. Apart from that aura component, what we have to do, we have to have component dot set. Yeah, we need to use component dot set for making the changes. Let's have a look. Okay. Similarly, we can work with the many other because there is no way to declare the type of the variable. Since I just initialize with a string value, so it become a string. If I initialize that value with a number, so that this variable data type will become a number. So it's depend on the initialization of that variable. If it is initialized by that thing, it will become that. It's just similar to that JavaScript. JavaScript is also working in the same concept. There is no variable for that. Means there is no data type for any variable. We just what will be the variable, what will be the type casting, what will be the value of that variable, it becomes the same data type. So let's let's work with some array of the element, some list related thing, which is the most common one. And the items I didn't like food items. Let's use this food items to display over up here. So just like that Aura component, we are using iteration. Similarly, we have to use the iteration over up here. So work with that, work with the list of records. So let's have a look at that, how to use the iteration. For iteration, we have a component, we have a name called for each. For each, there is a thing for each. Okay, for each, let's work with the for each. Okay, for each, for whenever you are using each, we just have to, means this is the this is how the iteration is working. We need to define a template. In that template we need to for each, and that in that thing we need to define that our list name. So our list name is food items. Let's copy and paste up here, food items. And similarly, as we are declaring the object and then we declaring this one variable for that, so I will just add food item. Okay, and now I can directly use that food item over up here. And one more thing, while working with the template, the next element which is comes under the template, there must be a keyword called key, and it has some unique values. So I just put up here, and a key tag is very important while working while working with the list, while working with the for each template. For each template, whenever you are working with the for each template, the key tag is very important. Whenever the first line completes, means for each complete, the next tag that come inside that template, it must have a key tag so that it will be uniquely identifies that element. So let's no, first we need to deploy that thing. Let's deploy. Yeah, you can see that it's coming up here, and what are be the same way that we have written up with list is populating up here. So what are the element present in the list, it's populating up here. It's populating. Let's have a, just like that, let's have make changes in the UI. For making changes in the UI, we all know that we have an option called SLDS. SLDS is helps to design the UI of that any of the Lightning designs, any of the Lightning component. So let's come up here and design the UI for it, so it will be look good. Not good. Let's copy this one and work. Let's have a look at how it's working with the this component. I copy and paste up here, and then when I do that, I need to make some changes. So let's copy the template from here, just paste it here. It's a just same concept that we have already worked on. Since this is since this element is just after the template, so we need to put the key over up here, not here. And then it asks for the food item. And then close the tag. and remove this all code. Save it, deploy it. Okay, it's successfully run, no error concept. So okay, it's showing up here, but it's not looks good. So for that, just make the background to you white. Just let me make the background to white. So for making a background white, we have a component called a lightning card. Just copy this and paste up here. Paste up here. Now make changes. I don't want this. Let's put that thing in its body. The footer, let's remove this. I don't want the footer. Okay, let's right click and deploy this to source org. It's showing an error. That closing tag is missing. P has a closing tag. Okay, it's missing. This P has a tag starting and closing. UL is also tag starting. Li is also starting. And this tag is also starting. Lightning card is also starting and closing tag. I'm not sure. That's one. Okay. Okay. We put that in outside the component. So that's why let's put that in a footer. Mm. Okay. So now it's looks good. So this is the way that how it's working, and we can also do the same thing that we have done earlier. That we can, on the basis of that click, we can add the values inside that element. So again, if we, since it is using on the page, so this dot food name, since it is an array, so it has a method called push. That in that push we can add that element, any element. Suppose new item. I just add, save, deploy to the source org. Nothing is happening. Why child? Adding an error, but changes are not reflecting. No. Let's do one more thing. Let I equal to 0. This dot I equal to this dot I plus 1. Just an incrementing counter, nothing else. I just do the deployment. Here it is adding, not reflecting. Might be this I is not incrementing, because if key is duplicate, then it will not add that value, but it will not show that value. So let me check that its I is incrementing or not. See, here it is, we are using key. So if key is duplicate, then it will not show that component. It always uniquely identifies. It's incrementing, but not implementing. Then why it's not showing there? This dot I. Let's check this dot I before adding. That's doing strange. Might be the issue with the space. Wow, that is strange, but yeah, it's okay. I'm not sure why it's happening, but let's do it this way. It's showing out there, but it's not reflecting it. That's pretty soon, but it's okay. So it's means you just add that. I'm not sure what's the issue with this, but it's doing the same thing. But yeah, we can make changes over up here. Since it is array, we just need to push the new element over up here, and it will be populated all the values via the iteration. So the thing is that whenever we need to work on the list, so we need to just like similar that we just have to put the element, means that a list element over up here and the variable name over up here. And then the important thing is that when after the template of for each, there must be a tag, and that tag must have that key value over up here, so that any of the duplicate value will not be populated inside this template. So this is the way how the repeat is working for that, how the iteration is working with the LWC components. And yeah, and how the iteration is working for the on the LWC component, and what is the important of that key after just after the template, which what is just after the template, just after the template while we are using. So it is an important thing that while working with the for each loop. So that is it, but I'm not sure why this one is not working. But it's okay. Okay, any questions?
Suraj, I have a question about the interface, user interface. For the Lightning Web Component, you just created as a tab. It could be also the application or some tab under the Sales Cloud. How does it work? Like, is it just only work as a tab, or it could apply?
No, it can be. It's
A bookstore manager as a Lightning Web Component, and under that there are like objects, things like that. So what is for that?
it's the same that you can use that Lightning Web Component at any place. You can use that as an application. You can use that in a record detail page. You can do at any place whenever you want. You just have to change in the metadata, meta XML file, and you can use that component at any place.
Okay.
Once whenever there is use needed, you can also put that component inside this detail page of that detail page, yeah, record page, or we can say that detail page. You can also put that Lightning component as a external app. So you can use that Lightning Web Component as external app also. You can use at anywhere. You just have to change the meta XML file according to use. Means whenever you at which place you want to use, just you have to add the target over up here, and it will be used at that place.
Okay, so it could be, under any object, any cloud, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Thank you. So can you also tell us about the Lightning Web Component when we created that gives the functionality, and let's say on the Sales Cloud, just like a couple example that we are able to achieve with Lightning Web Component, but not like out-of-box functionalities. We cannot achieve with that. So is it something that you can come up with unique to the Lightning Web Component?
Lightning Web Component is just like a UI, and only the things that we can't achieve that whenever it is not possible when on the out of box things. Just like earnings, for example, that if you are talking about the Sales Cloud, so Sales Cloud is working on the leads, account, opportunities. So I want a component that suppose a user just want a single click, it will do all those things that he wants to convert so many leads at the same time. So at that moment, out of box will not help to do that. In a single click, suppose he wants to in a single click just want to convert all the leads that are created by today. So at that moment, he is not able to convert all the leads at a single click while working with the out of box component. Then he wants to develop a custom Lightning Web Component where it will show all the today's created leads, and there will be a button at the top when he hits the hits that button, it will convert all the leads, and it will convert all the leads into the account, contact, or opportunity. At the same moment, there is also a functionality that suppose we need to merge that merge to an existing account or merge to an existing contact while converting a lead. At that time, there is no automatic functionality available in the out of box. So at that moment, we can also design such a component that will automatically merge that existing merge to the if suppose we have a same lead again comes up on the basis of phone number, email, first name, last name. So at that moment, if we again try to convert that thing, so at that moment, so it will automatically merge to that existing account or a contact. This kind of requirement can be worked with the Sales Cloud. So this can be thing means in order to merge with the existing account or do the automatic conversion or do the means what we can say, numbers of lead converted at the same moment, that can be done while working with the.
That's good.
Oh.
Okay. Is it like it's been done through that simple things, or we need to do Apex coding for this?
Yeah, we need the Apex coding for this.
Okay. Okay, that's a good example.
Actually, that's a real-time example.
Yeah, that's good. I like that because I have some similar situations, so I could use that. That's the only thing, because those details I need to really study on this.
So these are both cases are the real-time examples. You will face usually. Okay. Okay, then we are good for now.
Suraj, can we stay and talk a few minutes after end, like if we end session?
Okay.
Can we talk? Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
So everyone can leave.
Thank you.